Like, do you have a starting quarterback?
I might, but you guys not going to have it today. Again, like I told you guys the other week, man, we're not going to make knee-jerk reactions and statements following a performance. We'll go through our proper professional procedure. We'll evaluate the game. We'll meet with our front office people. We'll have discussions. We'll talk internally. We'll talk external possibilities. We'll go through our normal procedure this time of year, and we'll disclose it to you at our leisure, to be quite honest with you.
That's classic Mike Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin. No nonsense. He's not going to tell us anything. He doesn't need to tell us anything. Anything he tells us, he's telling the Bengals, their first opponent of the 2022 regular season. But there was something there that caught me as odd, Chris. At a time when the momentum seems to be pointing toward Mitchell Trubisky as the starting quarterback, he mentioned external possibilities. What external possibilities would there be at starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well,
are they going to trade for Jimmy G?
Well,
are they going to bring Big Ben back?
I know.
That part made no sense. And it may just be where a guy gets caught up in his sayings.
Right.
Sometimes he throws something in there that he really didn't mean to say.
Or external factors did he mean? Did he mean, like, if the owner just comes in and goes, wait, I want to start Kenny Pickett week 1, then he goes, okay, I got to start Kenny Pickett. I mean, I wasn't sure what he meant by that either. Or was he referring to, wait, even though I'd like to start Kenny Pickett, there's an external factor of my old line sucks, okay? It stinks, and maybe we got to play Mitchell Trubisky because it's not fair to throw the rookie in there. That's
to technically internal, but he may want to make some of those guys external.
Well, yes. I mean, I go back to that where I'd be shocked if it isn't Mitchell Trubisky. Kenny Pickett has done enough to be the starter, though. I think you and I both know we've watched enough of the Steelers and he was impressive once again. I mean, he just, again, smart, pushing the ball down the field, shows athleticism, accuracy. All of that was there for sure on display once again from Kenny Pickett. Mitchell Trubisky looked really damn good too, though. He did. I mean, Trubisky, he's, again, a good athlete. He stands in there. He's got a powerful arm, made some big throws. Great post route down the middle to Freiermuth on the second or third drive of the game. That was, impressive in a cover 2 setting against the Lions. So again, I both guys have played well enough to be the starter, Mike. I think you and I would agree on that. And I would just go, wow, with their early season schedule, some of the teams they got to play as far as their defensive line and their offensive line is concerning, I would probably lean to Trubisky to be the starter here from, in the get-go and then evaluate after a few weeks.
Among other things, Trubisky authored a 6-play, 92-yard drive in a 2-minute setting at the end of the first half against the Lions. So he did make a strong closing argument. And we set it up last week. Tomlin set it up by saying this game potentially will determine the starter. He wants to see how guys do in a stadium setting.
Right.
And Trubisky played well. However, in that stadium, they were chanting for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
And later in the press conference, and you could just hear it in the voice of the reporter, tiptoeing on eggshells to frame the question in a way that won't catch him a verbal rebuke from Mike Tomlin. He got one anyway. Basically, the question is, does the chanting for Kenny Pickett mean anything? And of course it doesn't mean anything to a football coach, especially not to Mike Tomlin. He doesn't care what they're chanting. He doesn't care what they want. They could be going Rudy, Rudy, Rudy all they want, and Rudy ain't getting in the game. Not with Mike Tomlin in charge of the sideline.
No.
So, but that is part of this reality.
Yes.
And if it is an organizational decision.
Right.
And I've said this before, local TV ratings have been down. Attendance is down. Tickets are sold, but you need the people to show up and buy all the stuff. You need them to pay too much for hot dogs and popcorn and beer and parking and programs and jerseys and hats. That's part of your profit margin. So they need excitement. And Kenny Pickett's going to excite more than Trubisky. Now, winning is the ultimate source of excitement, but Chris, it's only going to get worse on Trubisky if he's the starter and he struggles.
Well, yes.
The Kenny Pickett chants are going to get louder and louder and louder.
That I think is the point. You're right. Tomlin, the organization, they're not going to listen to the fan base, but if things aren't going well, at least they're emboldened by the fan base to go, hey, wait, it's week 4 and we're 1-3, or it's week 5 and we're 2-3, and the offense hasn't been good. And the fans, they want him. And our guy, he's ready. You know, he's ready to go. We saw he was ready in the preseason. It's another few weeks of getting used to, regular season practice. And, hey, we got our O-line in a spot here now where they're playing a little bit better, and we know how to protect them. We know the style in which we want to play that doesn't make them or expose them too much. I think that's where then they go, oh, and the fan base wants the guy. Let's do it. That's where I feel like that's where the fans come in. So if it does get rocky roads, bumpy roads, whatever, they at least know that the media and the fan base behind them is going to be supportive of Kenny Pickett being the starting quarterback. And I think that's where it matters at least a little bit to the organization.
And remember, it's always easier to go from the veteran to the rookie. Once the rookie's the guy, much more difficult to pull him out. You get back into the Terry Bradshaw, Terry Hanratty, Joe Gilliam days if you start doing that, because Bradshaw started right away, and it took him 4 or 5 years to finally get to where he needed to be. Ben Roethlisberger did not start right away. Tommy Maddox got injured back in 2004. It opened the door for Roethlisberger, and they went 15-1. All that predates Tomlin. See, that's the thing. For as great of a coach as he is, he's never had to deal with this issue because he's always had Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
But for injury and suspension in 2010, he's always had him. And, Chris, you make a great point about the schedule. At the Bengals, Patriots at home, at the Browns on a short week.
Right.
But then after that, mini bye, and here come the Jets.
Exactly. That could be the time right there. That definitely would be an area where I'd look at if you're struggling and you're going, okay, wait, we're 1-2. We're 0-3. All right, it's the Jets. Let's get them together. Let's get them playing. I mean, that would make sense. So we'll see where it goes. But, again, they're concerning to me on the offensive line. And especially the Bengals, we know, can rush the passer. The Patriots, pretty damn good there, too, with Matt Judon and Christian Barrymore and company. And then we know the Browns with Jadeveon Clowney and, of course, Myles Garrett. You're going to have your hands full. It's going to be something to watch for. With Pittsburgh, with a team where we go, wait, there's a lot of pieces you like. Definitely. The 3 receivers, Deontay Johnson, I know got hurt and hurt his shoulder a little in the game with a great throw by Trubisky. But, Najee Harris he looks great. The defense, we know there's some pieces there. They have a huge question mark at offensive line. More of a question mark at a position than any of the other really quality teams in the AFC that I can think of at the top of my head here.
So, look, I think what will happen is we'll hear nothing about it this week. And Tomlin also pointed out they got 2 more weeks to practice. I think one of the external possibilities could be a trade of Mason Rudolph,
100%.
who played only one series yesterday. And there are teams out there like the Lions looking for a backup quarterback and may not be happy with their 2 internal options behind Jared Goff. But at some point early next week, I assume the Steelers are announced. And I don't think Tomlin believes he can keep it quiet. Sean Payton did a great job of keeping it quiet. Remember the week we didn't know if it was going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston in 2020, and we all thought it was maybe trending toward Winston, and then on Friday it was announced it's Hill. To keep it quiet after a full day of practice Wednesday and Thursday is impressive. I don't know that Tomlin can pull that off. Maybe he'll try. Maybe we won't know who the Week 1 starter is. Maybe we won't know until... And we've seen that with college games from time to time over the years. First game of the season, we don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be. Out trots the guy that you didn't think it was going to be him. I don't think that Tomlin can pull that off. There's a strategic value in it. If you can keep the Bengals guessing until the first snap of your first drive of the game, that's a win.
Yes, but I don't think it's as strategic as the Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston thing. For something we talk about all the time. These are 2 quarterbacks with the same skill set. So I don't think the offense drastically changes, which is a good thing. Again, hey, if the starter goes down, we don't have to reinvent a new offense or the backup. But I don't know if it holds as true here as where, are you going to see the Taysom Hill offense with him running and all that, or are you going to see Jameis Hill dropping back traditional Drew Brees-ish type of offense? That, to me, had real advantage there. This one, I don't know if it does, and I feel like it's more along the lines of, this would be one where I'd want to name Trubisky the starter. Let's go into the game 1. We're the AFC champs. Let's have a commander, a general lead us onto the field that we can rally behind a little bit here and have our team believe in, hey, we got a guy that we think we can win games. There was a great throw by Trubisky. That's the play Deontay Jones hurt his shoulder on. But, yeah, all in all, I mean, I think people will see on these highlights, Trubisky looks the part. He definitely does. It's just, hey, can he play at a high level consistently, and can that O-line be worth a damn is going to be the big question, Mike.
And the Steelers don't necessarily need to have a sheriff at quarterback,
right,
like a Peyton Manning.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger was never that guy, frankly.
Yeah.
Tomlin has been the guy who runs the team, and he provides the leadership from his spot. So the idea that, well, you better name a starter and point to the locker room, follow this guy. No, the locker room already follows Tomlin. So once Tomlin has a starter and Tomlin entrusts the job to him, that's when the locker room is going to pivot to whoever it is. Trubisky, Pickett, whoever. They don't have those issues in Pittsburgh. They're not going to have a schism in the locker room between the players as to whether it should be Trubisky or Pickett. Whatever Tomlin decides, that's what they'll be 100% behind, and don't write off the Steelers in 2022. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.